Hi, my name is Bill. I'm a registered sex offender, and I'm here because I'm looking for a little compassion. I am not a monster. I did something wrong. I've never touched a child. I've never wanted to touch a child. But what I did was unthinking, and it changed my life forever. I'm hoping you'll listen to my story.
This is Father Steve Porter. At the tone, leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Hi, Father Steve. It's Bill. I thought a lot about what we talked about, and I just wanted to let you know that I looked up the address of the Catholic Church near me, and I'm going to stop by.
Atheist. I just got an email here from a guy called Bill who tells me he's an atheist. He starts off, "Dear Father Steve, I'm an atheist." What a strange way to start an email. Whatever does an atheist want to come and talk to a Catholic priest about? Let's see. Apparently he's been in jail and he's having trouble settling back into society. I still don't know how a Catholic priest can help an atheist, but maybe God can. And let's go see if we can help him, or help him help himself. So Bill, tell me how I can help you.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to say first is that I've seen you on TV.
Oh.
And I've been really impressed with how compassionate you've been with a number of different people, and how you've been able to make them feel better about what their situation is. I was convicted of a crime of sending child pornography across state lines. When I sent these pictures, I wasn't thinking at all about how they were obtained, the kids in them. I wasn't thinking about anything other than my desire to impress somebody that I wanted to come out to California and be with me.
Okay.
And so it's a situation of, I don't know whether it's because I was molested multiple times when I was young. I was six or seven the first time I was molested. And I was in a movie theater, and this adult sat next to me, and he wanted to put his hand in my pants. The fact that this guy wanted to touch me at the time didn't strike me as odd, and I think that part of me liked the fact that this person was paying attention to me. And so I agreed. I didn't see it as bad. I saw it as people wanting me. People liking me for who I am. That's the way I saw it.
Certainly very serious things you're talking to me about.
Yes, they are.
And you were convicted and you've done your time in jail.
Correct.
And now, from what I understand, it keeps coming back at you all the time.
It does.
And how can we deal with that in some way to ameliorate those effects? Huh? Is that what we're looking for?
It is. As you said, I mean, every time I attempt to kind of reinvent myself, that scarlet letter, appears on my chest again. And then I'm left, and I'm not getting any younger, and so it's making it, my age, is already a detractor for certain people to hire me. But now you add that, felony conviction, and then you add for what the felony conviction was for.
Right.
And then it's like nobody wants to touch me. So now I'm 55 years old, and I can't go into the profession that I've been in for 17 years because nobody wants to hire me. And I have this new client, and I'd given her a list of all my previous clients. She found out through the internet about my charges. She had done a check on me. So she proceeded to call every single person on my contact list and tell them, did they know that a pedophile, because that's what she said, had been working for them. So now I have all these clients that I can't use. I'm finding it hard to completely forgive myself.
Right, okay.
Because nobody else will forgive me.
But you've forgiven them for anything they may have done to you. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Okay.
When I came out, I'd lost my house, I'd lost my apartment, and it was a situation of I didn't have any place to stay.
Right.
And I had friends with big houses,
right, plenty
of extra rooms, friends with, maybe just one extra bedroom in their house, but open, and none of them said, come stay with me.
Let me talk a little bit about forgiveness.
Okay.
And make a comparison, a parallel, if you like. One of the things about forgiveness is that sometimes we don't always see it, and sometimes it kicks us in the face. If someone is sick, physically sick, that's say, nothing to do with spiritual forgiveness, sickness, but physically sick, cancer or whatever, the medical profession can go in and can perform surgery and can prescribe drugs, and you do what the medical profession tells you, and you can be cured. Right. You can be completely cured. But there will be consequences of that curing. You might be missing half your lung. You would certainly have a scar on your chest where they took it out. But you are cured. Now, forgiveness sometimes works that way because people are willing to forgive. I mean, real friends will forgive, but there's a scar left behind, and they just can't deal with it in the same way as they dealt with you before. Just as if someone has a lung removed, they can't run a marathon anymore, right, but they're healed. So these people may have actually forgiven you, but are just finding it difficult to relate to you. And that's coming across to you as they're standing back and being aloof.
But I'm the same person that went into prison that came out of prison.
No, you're not.
Well, I mean, certainly the experiences, are different, but I don't see why people treat me differently because our friendship didn't change.
You've had a set of experiences that they can only imagine. Unless any of them have been to prison too.
Right, no, none of them.
They
First of my friends.
They can't even imagine it. They have no idea. And that's changed you in ways that they don't know how to deal with. Until you get the opportunity to be with them and to tell them a little bit about what's changed in you. You don't need to go through the whole prison experience, but a little bit about how Bill has changed. First of all, the Bill who went into prison, the Bill who came out of prison, but now the Bill today. Because this is what's really important, is the Bill today. And how this Bill today is a man who's paid the price in jail, but is still having difficulty dealing with the consequences of what he did. And your friends can help you deal with those consequences. Your friends can reach out when they know how, and you have to invite them to do that, to reach out and help you to heal the old Bill who went into jail and is now part of, because the experience is there,
right,
the part of the Bill who's here. And saying, you know what, you can even go as far as this, when I went into jail 13 years ago, whatever it was, right, now, I had hundreds of friends. I've got 5 left now, and you're one of them. I value you so much that I want to give you the opportunity of being completely, how can we say this, completely reunited with me again, like we were before. So please, whatever questions you may have had over those years, now's another chance. Ask me them now.
I'm not convinced that they would Because I mean, I did on a couple that I was the closest to. I did push and say, "Come on, you've got to have some questions. You have to, or do you want to ask me if I'm a pedophile? Don't you want? I mean, it's like that's what everybody assumes.
Yes.
You have that crime.
Yes.
That's the first thing that people assume, you're a pedophile.
Yes.
So you don't want to ask me if I am, and so
maybe they don't.
Huh?
Maybe they don't
want to ask.
They don't want to ask.
Well, no. Well, they didn't.
Now let's look at that for a little bit. Maybe they don't want to be faced with the truth. Maybe they think you're going to say, "Yes, I am. I know I pled guilty in the court of law, but yes, I am a pedophile. Yes, I've been doing this with kids for 50 years. Yes, everything I wrote down is true." Maybe they're scared that that's the truth. And they love Bill so much, they don't want to know that truth. People are going to hurt you in life. You have to decide, do I want to continue suffering when people hurt me, or do I take the pain and dismiss it and move on?
Well, I can certainly tell you, and I mean, I haven't gotten over the pain of my family.
Okay.
That's still something that's very
do you see them at all?
Me. Huh?
Do you see them at all?
No, they've all passed away now.
Oh, they've all passed away.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have resentments against these family members?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. My father treated me
how can you deal with that?
I never felt my father loved me. There was never a time in my life that I felt warm and fuzzy by him. He would say things that made me know that he thought that I was not a welcome addition in the family. He could yell at me and make me piss myself, which would only infuriate him more.
Why are you hanging on to the past? What was nice about the past that you want to hang on to it?
Well, the time with the people next door.
There you go. Hang on to that.
Yeah.
And let the rest go. Hang on to that family who gave you somewhere to stay and gave you some love and gave you some guidance and care, love, and let the rest go. Hang on to the good.
It's easier said than done.
I know, but it can be done when we want it to be done.
I never did anything to him. I never, there was nothing that I ever did to make him hate me.
No.
So I did try as an adult to say, I really would like us to talk.
But you did. You approached him.
I approached him.
Yeah, right.
I said, but in order for us to move forward, we have to address this.
Mm-hmm.
And he refused. It was more, he would prefer not to have me in his life than discuss it.
Okay.
And that was that. That was the end of it. So we never spoke again.
And that's nothing that you are responsible for.
No.
Because you did what you thought was the right thing to do. He was the one who nixed it.
Right.
And therefore he's the one that's responsible for the situation,
right.
Not you.
Right.
But why is that memory still affecting you then?
Because I just wanted to be loved.
And that memory was a pain, which is now suffering. So you're still keeping that suffering
right.
with you. And you don't need to keep the suffering. Because the pain actually is past.
Has it?
Yes, the pain of him saying those things to you at that moment. Because pain is instantaneous.
So how do I get past the suffering?
It's a decision you have to make. I'm not going to let other people or other people's memories determine my life today. Because his memory is still determining your life. And those friends of yours that you talked about, and the fact that they won't be as close friends as they used to be, are still determining your life. And you're allowing them to do it. And that's the suffering.
Right. For so much of my life, all I wanted was people to like me and to have my family love me. That's all I wanted.
And it wasn't happening.
And it wasn't happening. And it never happened.
It never happened. But you're still holding on to those memories.
Right.
And you're allowing those memories to determine your reactions today.
Right. Because I just can't understand why. I was a nice kid.
But you won't understand it
I know.
because they're gone.
Yeah.
Most of them are dead. God rest their souls. But you're here. And you can make a decision. Do I allow the evil that people did to me in the past to determine who I am today? And I hope the answer is no. I'm not going to give them permission to keep pushing me down. That's the suffering I'm talking about. You work on yourself to realize that Bill is a good person, that Bill is a worthy person, that Bill is a person who deserves respect. And the first person to give Bill respect is going to be Bill.
Right.
And when Bill starts giving Bill respect and starts saying to Bill, you know what? I've got these memories, but they're not going to determine what I do today. They're not going to determine who I am today. They're in the past. They were painful. I have suffered, but the suffering is gone because I will not allow that suffering to determine who I am today. That's not easy, by the way.
Yeah.
It's still easier for me to say it than for you to do it. But it's possible. I can tell you it's possible.
I have tried varying methods. I've gone to psychiatrists and psychologists over the years
And now you've come to a priest.
Now I've come to a priest.
Why?
Because of your compassion.
Is there something spiritual that might be there that you maybe don't even want to face? And there is a God who loves. And that God is willing to reach out to you and say to you, Bill, I love you. Bill, you're a good man. Bill, the world is still going to hate you because the world is the world. But don't worry about the world. I love you. And I will offer you whatever it is you need so that you can be completely healed. Healed of those memories, particularly those memories of your dad, so that they don't determine who you are and what you do today.
But I'm living in the physical world.
And the
not to sound like
but you are.
Pop song.
You're living in the physical world. I'm living in the physical world, but my understanding is that the spiritual world is what really counts. My understanding. So the other alternative, once again, I can give you is a promise to pray for you and to promise to ask God to bless you.
You can pray.
That's right. I'm not asking you to pray.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm asking, may I?
Oh, yes. Of course. I have no desire to stop anybody else with their beliefs. It's just because I don't believe. I understand other people do, and I respect other people's right for that, just as I want them to respect me being an atheist.
And I do.
I know.
But may I pray
yes,
for you
may.
now?
Of course.
Mighty God, we ask you to send your Holy Spirit down into our brother Bill and to guide him and direct him in ways that he will understand, which means you keep quiet, God, don't talk to him, but just move around his life, so that he sees the right way to go. And intuition leads him to where he can accept fully the criminal consequences of what he did, and that you, God, will forgive him the spiritual consequences of what he did. Amen. I'll keep that prayer for a few weeks for you. I promise you that. And it doesn't matter how you deal with it.
Right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Blessings, Bill.
Well, that was a very interesting meeting with Bill the other day. Still an atheist at the end of it, he said, and that still is a problem, at least from my point of view. So Bill left me kind of perplexed. What else is true? I get perplexed quite often. And when I get perplexed, I go and speak to someone who knows what they're talking about, knows more than I do on a particular subject. So I've come to the law offices of Alec Rose, who's a well-known criminal defense attorney, to ask why? Why can Bill not be accepted back into society?
Alec, thank you very much for meeting with me today. I appreciate that. I had a call from this man, Bill,
Yes.
who told me, he said, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God at all.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, well, why are you talking to a Catholic priest? He said, well, one of the reasons is that way back when he was a kid, and he had a very traumatic childhood, I mean, it wasn't pleasant at all. He said the only people who ever showed him any real love were his neighbors, and they were Catholics.
Okay.
And they looked after him and fed him when his mom and dad didn't feed him, and they gave him hugs and Christmas presents and stuff when, you know, the family were having problems. And he said, well, that's why I'm going to a Catholic priest. And then he proceeded to tell me that he had been accused of and convicted of sending pornography. Child pornography through the internet. So he said, I've done my time. I did the time in jail. I've paid it, and I still can't. Society doesn't accept me. What can I do? What can I do? How can I get back into society again?
I will say this. The laws related to child pornography, when you compare the punishment to punishment for some other crimes,
right,
they are exceptionally harsh. There are mandatory minimum penalties. If Bill got 5 years, that is the federally mandated minimum penalty for the crime of receiving child porn, which means like transmitting it over the internet. Wow. So he actually got the least harsh sentence he could have possibly gotten for that offense, assuming he was in fact guilty of it. You know, and it's hard to rank evil, you know, in the world. You know, it's something theologically and legally that, you know, different people try to do, but our government has chosen some extremely harsh penalties for child pornography, and many of them feel they'll just never live down the stigma associated with this. And the reality is, I have found clients who are willing to take the cards life has dealt them at this point and start slowly, one step at a time, can wind up somewhere in life. For one of these guys to only have a dozen or 15 photos is extraordinarily low. Is it? And in fact, your own home computer could possibly have 10 child porn photos on it and you don't even know.
Really?
It could. Firstly, sometimes those spam emails that we get where we accidentally think we got an email from from the pharmacy telling us our prescription's available, and when you click on it, it's, you know, crazy ads for sex and lower your mortgage rate and 20 other things. Some of the crap that those things put on your computer can include obscene pornography, and not just to play a trick on you, but because obviously the people who own it don't want to get caught. The ones who are sophisticated know they cannot get caught with it. So what do? They find other people's computers to hide it on. And in fact, there have been a few cases where corporations have found a cache of child porn in their corporate computers, and it didn't come from anybody in the company. It came from a sophisticated hacker who figured out that they could hide their obscene materials there. And could still access it when they wanted to. Access it when they wanted to. Ooh. And, you know, but... Why isn't that... Nobody knows about that. Why isn't that out there? Well, in the legal community, it definitely is out there. When we have occasional clients come to us and say, you know, I just got fired at work because they found this porn on my computer. I swear I've never accessed it. Didn't have any idea where this came from. We can sometimes take the computer to a forensic expert who can sometimes figure out where it came from. Is there a theological way of rehabilitating people, or even without bringing God into it, although I like to bring God into everything, of course, a philosophical way? There certainly is. And I think it can be religious or philosophical. I think that, you know, the concept of atonement is something that Bill really needs to think about in his life. And maybe he has not atoned, maybe he's atoned more than enough, but not in the right way. Correct, yes. Okay. You know, paying the debt that the judge ordered him to pay, which he had to do. Yes. Certainly gets him square with the courthouse, with the probation department, but that's not going to get him square with his neighbors and with himself.
Right.
And that's probably where he really needs to start before even thinking of things like, how do I earn a living and how do I get to where I want to be in life? Maybe he does need to start with some humility, with, doing something personally restorative. I would ask him, if I were working with him as somebody who was a potential candidate for a certificate of rehabilitation, what would you do to restore the wrong? It might be a question to ask him that doesn't necessarily have a religious load in it, and I would start him thinking that way. Is there something he could do for the benefit of child victims?
Right.
Could he, would he be willing, even under, an anonymous name or something, to speak publicly about, the consequences in his life or what he's learned about his crime from the odyssey he's been on?
And of course, he's done some of that with me on film.
Yes, and that might help him start.
Right.
Another place Bill might want to think, and whether you think, obviously, theologically, we know we cannot demand others forgive us.
That's right.
We have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive them.
Right.
And then, and it's part of Christianity that we get our grace through forgiving others.
Exactly.
Bill needs to start there, whether he starts there religiously or just thinking psychologically. I can't change your thoughts.
Yes.
I could be an atheist. I can't convince you you've wasted your career in the Catholic Church.
Right.
I could be an atheist. You're not probably going to convince me to, join the Catholic Church. But we can talk. And
Bill and I have, yes.
And you and Bill can.
Yes.
And, I can summarize Bill's problem like this.
Okay.
Bill has no community. And because he has no community, he is adrift. And Bill can realize from a psychological point of view, from whatever, that he can't make people forgive him. But he can start with the people who have forgiven him, with the people who do accept him.
Right.
And he can start with them, with building a life with those people.
So probably what I need to do is to go and talk to him again and talk to him a little bit about forgiveness.
Yes.
Forgiving himself first.
Right.
That's something that hadn't occurred to me, that he's probably not done that yet.
Well, here's another reason he might want to give religion another try. Is that at the best churches I've been to, and not just Christian churches, but I've met many people of many faiths.
Yes,
the best among them are not judgmental.
Correct.
And every religion that I know of has in it some aspect of the need to not judge other people, the need to forgive other people, the need to accept other people who want
where they're at.
Maybe he could meet some people who are willing to give him a shot.
Right.
Maybe he could make some friends in a religious community that he could be upfront with about what's gone wrong in his life.
Right.
And maybe a few people at a church would be willing to accept him. And if he expanded his circle of friends, he might expand his circle of opportunities, and starting with them. And I think that I hope you can convince Bill to do all of these things, to, whether he will turn to the church or not, he does need to turn to a life that makes him happy.
Wow, that was such a great meeting with Alec Rose there. And that's the reason why I seek out help. When I don't understand something, go to somebody who knows the law in this particular case. I need some help. He's certainly taught me a lot today, and he's given me some suggestions as to how I can still, perhaps, if Bill would like it, continue to meet with him and to give him some more direction. So we'll leave it in God's hands. I'll call Bill, and I'll leave it in God's hands from there. as Christians, as Catholics, we all understand we're in this together. We're one community. We're all brothers and sisters. And it doesn't matter if the brother or sister doesn't realize that they're a brother or sister. You know, Bill is my brother. He may not believe in God the way I believe in God. It doesn't matter. He's still my brother. So I can pray for him. And I will pray for him. And I'll continue to pray for him.
Hi, Father Steve. It's Bill. Thanks again for meeting with me. I thought a lot about what we talked about, and I just wanted to let you know that I looked up the address of the Catholic Church near me, and I'm going to stop by. Take care, Father Steve, and thanks again.
So maybe God does have a chance.